focus on giving everything to him. If you're going through absolute hell, that's what I want you to do. If everything's coming down on you, if you're struggling, if you are just falling and falling further, that's the number one thing I want you to do. So something that I've been struggling with lately, along with one of my clients and one of my friends, is when you're going through a really stressful, distressful, and just a struggle of a time, what do, right? I mean, keep going, endure, all that stuff is, sounds nice and dandy, and that's true. That's the advice that I would give. But sometimes it's not as simple as that, right? And really the advice that I give out to my clients, my friends, anyone who's talking to me, and I would give to myself. However, full disclosure, I'm much worse at taking my own advice than advising it to other people. I think we all are, unfortunately. That's due to our human nature, is the fact that we need to turn to God. Like, let's say, and I know this sounds really, really self-explanatory and like, duh, turn to God. That's what being a Christian's supposed to be. Yes, but it's not always that simple. So let's say you have somebody who's struggling with lust or struggling with some type of vice, some type of sin that is ongoing. What they need to do is focus less on attacking the vice, the struggle, the sin in of itself. So let's say I'm not trying to lust or watch porn or masturbate or any of those things, right? Where my energy and my focus should be spent is not on turning away from lust and ignoring lust and going away from those urges and temptations I have, but simply redirecting all of my energy to God. That is the number one thing that I think people should do. Maybe this won't fit every single situation, but I think a lot of the times, especially if you're struggling with your faith and maybe you're struggling in deepening your faith, this is probably the answer for you. And I know this was the answer for, again, a client of mine and a friend of mine, and even myself, because the more that we struggle, a lot of the times, the easier it is to forget God in our minds. Which, it sounds funny because that should be your instinct as a Christian, and that's something kind of like a muscle you got to build up. But again, that can be difficult. So you need to focus less on what you should not be doing and more on what you should be doing, which is turning to God. So if you're fighting lust, if you're fighting temptations, whatever it might be, your energy should be put towards praying to God, turning to God, and giving him everything, giving him what you're struggling with, giving it up to him, basically. Not trying to struggle in your own. Like it says in the Bible, to flee from your lust. You should not try to battle against it or you're gonna lose. Believe me, you're gonna lose. Because I've seen this with myself, I've seen it with many guys. You're gonna lose that battle. And that's mostly true for most vices, most struggles, most sins that you're battling against. So that would be my number one recommendation, guys, is going to be to focus on your relationship with God. Focus on giving everything to him. If you're going through absolute hell, that's what I want you to do. If everything's coming down on you, if you're struggling, if you are just falling and falling further, that's the number one thing I want you to do. Is I want you to turn to him and ceaselessly pray, relentlessly pray. No matter how hard it is, I need you to. I told this to my friend and client today and then the other day as well when he was struggling, is the times when you don't want to is the times when you need to the most. And I know it's a very cliche, cheesy saying, but it's true. I know that the days when I don't want to pray my rosary, that is when I need to the most. When I don't want to kneel and pray, when I don't want to read the Bible or read a certain devotional prayer or whatever it is, that is the time when you need to the most, because that's when you're getting attacked. That's the most important thing, guys. The more that you focus on him, like a lens, the more everything else is going to dissipate. Now, I'm not saying that automatically your lust, your temptations, whatever, is going to go away instantaneously. That's not how it works. If anything, sometimes you will get attacked even harder at the beginning, because Satan wants to try to go and pick off the ones that are getting closest to God, that are turning away from the road to hell and want to go to the road to heaven. That is the ones that he's going to go after the most. So yeah, it's going to be difficult, but I think you need to focus on your relationship with God, which I know is a very kind of overused term, and we're like, what does that even mean? Well, it really means like how you interact with him and your interior life, as we Catholics would say. So a life that is filled with thoughts and devotion and prayer and speaking to God, somebody that you're not forgetting on a daily basis. Because a lot of times I think we can fall in that trap of just kind of forgetting he's there and just like living our life, and he's kind of just the extra on set, but he's not. He's the main character, as us Zoomers would kind of put it. And he literally is the main character, because we would not be here without him. So that's kind of my point here, guys, is that if you treat him as the main component of your life, the main component, not an accessory, then the things that you're going through most likely will get easier. So don't focus on battling and going against the things you're struggling with. Flee from them, sprint, run away from them, and turn to God. And I think that is going to be the most effective way of combating those struggles and turning away from your struggles and sin and dealing with them in your most worst of times of tribulations. Especially if you are newer to the faith and you're just developing your relationship with God, your prayer life, and what that looks like. I think that's going to be a really key piece for you guys. I hope that really helps any of you guys who are struggling right now in a bit of a tough spot, spiritually, mentally, physically, whatever's going on. And I will be praying for you guys. I hope you'll keep me in your prayers. And God bless. I'll see you in the next one.